Now, this is an initial meeting. What happens next if things go well and according to plan?
Well, yeah, as we've been saying, Delano, really that depends what happens behind closed doors right now when they've done the niceties. Now they're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of trying to talk about some of those big actual issues, particularly denuclearization, but also potentially a peace treaty in the Korean Peninsula. And one of the few things that's certain here is the profound unpredictability of these events. And so often with events like this, the final communique is kind of figured out a little bit in advance. The language is pretty staid. We kind of know what's coming out the other end. Here we have no sense of that at all. It is possible that we could hear something very specific at the end of these meetings, a tangible outcome like, for example, the United States agreeing to reduce its military presence in South Korea, where it has some 28,000 troops, in return for a 2 to 3 year commitment from Pyongyang to begin its denuclearization process. Now, analysts say, by and large, that'd be a pretty risky thing for the United States to agree at this first meeting. Because once they commit to withdrawal, North Korea will have the leverage, they'll have the upper hand, and they may very well not commit to their side of the bargain as they've done in the past with previous negotiations. But far more likely, more realistically here, what will end with is a quite vague statement of intent, a joint statement saying that they do want to work together towards a shared goal, towards denuclearization of the peninsula, but really lacking in any specifics of how we'll get there. Very likely we may hear talk of another meeting coming up in 6 months' time. We heard earlier on today, perhaps even if all goes to plan, Donald Trump inviting Kim Jong-Un to the White House. We imagine this to be an event light on detail, focusing really on that historic handshake that came first before they got into the details of thinking about denuclearization.
Nadia, while you were talking, we were showing images of the second bilateral meeting, which is taking place between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, as well as their aides. I could see Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was in the room, as you can see.